A lot of focus, rightfully so, is on Maga supporters turning against Elon Musk for H-1B visas, taking his statements and using against him Donald Trump's and his campaign's own words. Now, eventually, Elon Musk compared H-1B visas to being the top 0.1%, while Donald Trump showed his support for them by saying he uses them at his golf courses and his hotels. Kind of a stark difference there, and MAGA is very torn up about which side to be on now. Some believe Elon might be controlling or manipulating Donald Trump. Again, President Elon is said quite a bit. But with that going on, a lot of people are missing something that I also think is very important. And it reminds me of Brexit. If you're not familiar with Brexit, the Conservative Party got power, got the change they wanted, got them out of the EU, and then many of them literally dropped out of politics and fled the country to avoid the damage they were causing. Some of them came to America and started working with the American conservatives to elect Donald Trump. Now, Elon is doing something that I think is very, very similar. So Elon, as you can see behind me, has previously shown support for the AfD. And Elon Musk wrote an opinion piece in support of the AfD, the German far-right party. And it was so bad that it caused members of the paper to resign due to it being printed. They don't want associated with it. You see, the party that Elon is showing his support for is commonly referred to as a Nazi party. And for very good reason. Members dismissing the Holocaust, making memes about Anne Frank being oven fresh, walking out of speeches of Holocaust survivors, members calling the Holocaust a Jewish lie, and oh so much more. Far-right terrorist attacks? Well, quite a few of them have support for the AfD known. They, of course, are also pro-Russia, want to leave NATO, and they're against immigration, at least a certain kind of immigrant. And a lot of people are wondering, why is Elon Musk focused on yet another country's politics? They thought he was America first. They thought he was focused on America. And Elon excuses it as, well, he believes he's justified in doing it because of his investments in Germany. In my opinion, the reason is extremely simple. Elon Musk is limited in America. He cannot become the actual president of the United States. He is not someone who was born in the United States. He's not a natural-born citizen. But he can become chancellor in Germany. There's just a few requirements, and he can meet all of them. Takes a little bit of time, but he can do it. You don't have to be born in Germany. And he might be looking ahead for his escape pod from the United States, similar to how so many leaders in Brexit fled the country after negative effects started to get to them. Elon very well could see himself as someone who can take over Germany using money, because he can find a party that is greedy enough, corrupt enough to give him power. And I think he might have found it. Now, what's also interesting is people say, well, why would Elon Musk side with a Nazi party? And I have to ask, have they never looked into white billionaires from South Africa and what happened there? I mean, if you haven't, I don't want to do the history lesson here, and I recommend you go look into it because, oh boy. Elon Musk, I think, is possibly already feeling the limits of his power. Now, if he were to decide to go all in, when would this start? Well, from my understanding, the next big election that Elon is openly trying to influence is in February. So if Donald Trump takes power and Elon doesn't get what he wants, Elon isn't given the position and authority he wants, some in the Republican Party, representatives, are putting forward maybe making him the Speaker of the House, which would be about the upper limits of political power Elon could ever reach in America. If that fails, if he feels like that's his limit, and he deserves more, he's white and he's rich, Germany. Maybe he can push this party into power or give them a little more power, a little more control, and maybe he'll make the move. And what would be really funny, would be watching MAGA try to justify this, right? Try to explain this away. And it also reminds me of a lot of people will say things like, you wouldn't just switch sides like that, right? Except, increasingly, if you didn't know, in elections in America, we have had Republicans run as Democrats, win the election as a Democrat on Democrat policies, and then very shortly after switch parties. Because the point was to gain power, not to actually do the things they say. They know the things people want, and they can say those things and then get power and then do what they really want. I think Elon just wanted to have free reign, to have more power to bring in as many cheap immigrant labor as he needed for his factories. And he knows that there is a time limit to Trump being president. He's got 4 years, and whoever else comes in is probably not going to bow down to Elon. Times pretty well, because I believe you have to have been a German citizen for 5 years and lived in Germany for 5 years to become the chancellor. I would not be shocked at all if AfD successfully gains any foothold that Elon starts primarily living in Germany. I'm not joking. This isn't a joke video. I think Elon wants to have a legacy, kind of like how Trump wants to have a legacy taking over Greenland or Canada or Panama. He wanted Greenland while he was president to leave a mark. He wanted to do that. Well, Elon, I think, wants the same thing. He already has a bunch of children with a bunch of different women trying to leave a legacy in that way. But his children, to him, some of them are failing him. One of them is transgender, and he can't stand it. So if he can't bank on his children, he can't bank on his companies because they could always go under. What better way to be leaving a mark than to become the leader of a country? Be in the history books forever. Because as it stands right now, 100 years from now, no one might know who Elon Musk is. He hasn't done anything to be remembered by. And he talks about Mars, but we know he's not going to succeed in that. Everyone knows that. Elon knows that, but it's a selling point to try to keep himself to be remembered. Maybe one day when America does it, people will remember Elon Musk said it first, right? I think Elon wants political power. I think he's succeeded in America. He's now getting extremely angry with MAGA, increasingly fighting with MAGA. Trump could turn on him at any time. Why not look for a new home? A lot of billionaires, people look at them and are like, well, they're in America. They're a billionaire. They can just leave. They can make the country as bad as they want, profit all they want, deal with none of the negative consequences, and just leave.